Everything. Managing money with calm and control means living free from constant financial fear. It means making choices with intention, not impulse. It means trusting your plan and your discipline instead of chasing quick fixes. When your mind is steady, your money becomes steady. You don't need to control the world, you just need to control yourself. And when you master your thoughts, money naturally follows your direction. Calm isn't weakness, calm is power. It's the quiet strength that turns confusion into clarity, chaos into order, and income into peace. That is the essence of real financial mastery. Chapter 6. Set up automatic actions that grow your wealth silently. Wealth grows quietly when you design systems that do the work for you. Real financial progress is not built through constant effort. It's built through intelligent automation. When you rely only on willpower, your results fluctuate. But when you create automatic actions that run without emotional interference, your money grows consistently. Wealth doesn't need noise. It doesn't need endless excitement. It needs structure that works silently behind the scenes while you live your life. The key is to set up systems once and allow them to build momentum over time. The first step to building silent growth is understanding the power of consistency. Every time you make a financial decision manually, you give your emotions a chance to interfere. One day you feel motivated to save, the next you're tempted to spend. But automation removes that choice. It ensures your actions match your goals, not your moods. When your savings, investments, and bills move automatically, you stay disciplined without even thinking about it. The mind rests, the system works, and the results compound. To begin,
define your financial priorities clearly. You can't automate what you haven't decided. Ask yourself what matters most right now. Building an emergency fund? Paying off debt? Investing for the future? Choose one or two core goals to focus on. Automation works best when it's simple and specific. Once your goals are defined, you can build automated paths that direct your income toward them. The clearer your vision, the easier the system operates. Now start with the foundation: automated saving. Every time money enters your account, a fixed percentage should immediately move to a separate savings or investment account. It doesn't matter if it's 5% or 50%. What matters is that it happens automatically. The moment money arrives, it leaves for a better purpose. This single habit turns your income into a growth engine. You don't wait to see what's left over. You pay your future first. Over months and years, these small automatic transfers become the foundation of your wealth. Once saving is automated, extend the system to investment. Choose platforms that allow regular, automatic contributions to your investment accounts. You don't need to time the market or study charts every day. Automatic investing, often called dollar-cost averaging, builds wealth silently by buying consistently, regardless of market conditions. This reduces emotional decision-making and ensures that growth happens steadily. The markets rise and fall, but your contributions stay constant. That discipline outperforms impulsive reactions every time. Next, automate your bill payment. Late payments create unnecessary stress and damage your credibility. Set up automatic payments for essential bills like rent, utilities, and loans. When your obligations are handled without delay, your financial mind stays free from worry. You no longer waste time remembering due dates or fearing penalties. Automation protects your peace of mind and keeps your focus on growth, not correction. Debt repayment can also become part of your silent system. Many people carry debt not because they can't pay it, but because they lack consistency. Create automatic payments above the minimum amount each month. The payment should leave your account as soon as your income arrives. Just like a bill, over time, this small adjustment saves you interest and shortens your payoff timeline. The best part is, once it's automated, you stop thinking about it. You just live your life while your system eliminates debt quietly in the background. Automation also works for future goals like travel, education, or home ownership. Create separate accounts for each goal and assign automatic transfers to them. Label these accounts clearly. When you name a goal, it becomes tangible. Watching each one grow little by little gives you motivation to stay on course. This process turns long-term dreams into measurable progress. It also prevents accidental spending because your money has already been assigned a purpose. To make your automation strong, align it with your pay site. Every time you receive income, your system should trigger instantly. That's how you build momentum. If you wait to automate later in the month, emotions and temptations can interfere. Immediate action builds consistency, and consistency builds control. The goal is to design your financial flow so that every dollar knows exactly where to go the moment it arrives. You can also automate your financial education. Subscribe to credible newsletters, podcasts, or resources that deliver short insights each week. Knowledge compounds just like money. The more you learn automatically, the more confident you become in managing your systems. Education doesn't have to be intense. It just needs to be consistent. A small investment in learning pays off exponentially over time.
It just needs to be consistent. A few minutes of new understanding every week creates smarter decisions for years. An overlooked part of automation is protection. Set up automatic contributions to insurance or emergency funds. These systems guard your progress against unexpected events. Without safety nets, one emergency can erase years of effort. When protection is automated, you stop worrying about what-ifs. You know you're covered. And that calm allows you to focus on growth. Now let's talk about the mindset behind silent wealth. Many people crave visible progress. They want fast results, dramatic changes, and instant satisfaction. But real wealth rarely looks exciting. It grows quietly, slowly, and steadily. Automation teaches humility. It reminds you that greatness is built through small, consistent actions repeated over time. You may not feel the impact week to week, but years later, the results speak loudly. Silent progress is the most powerful kind. It happens when no one is watching, not even you. One powerful habit that complements automation is review. Set a reminder once every month or quarter to check your system. Make sure transfers are running smoothly, accounts are healthy, and goals are still relevant. Adjust when necessary, but don't interfere constantly. Think of it like tending a well-built machine. Observe, fine-tune, and let it work. Constant interference destroys rhythm. Gentle observation strengthens it. Automation can also extend to generosity. If giving or donating is part of your values, schedule automatic contributions to causes you believe in. This ensures that generosity is consistent, not occasional. Giving quietly and consistently reinforces a mindset of abundance. It reminds you that money is meant to flow to you, through you, and beyond you. That flow keeps your relationship with money healthy and purposeful.
Automatically categorize spending, track patterns, and show where your money flows. Use online banking tools to set rules like transferring any balance above a certain amount into savings. Use investment platforms that reinvest dividends automatic. Every tool you use becomes an assistant working silently for your success. The key is to build once and let technology handle repetition. Automation also helps you fight emotional fatigue. Managing money manually every day wears you down. It creates decision fatigue, and tired people make poor choices. When your system runs automatically, you save mental energy for creativity, relationships, and growth. You stop obsessing over every financial move because the system already follows your plan. Freedom doesn't come from controlling every detail. It comes from designing a process you can trust. One of the greatest benefits of automation is that it builds self-respect. When your actions align with your goals without effort, you begin to trust yourself more. Each automatic transfer, each on-time payment, each investment contribution tells your mind, I am responsible, I am in control. That belief is powerful. It changes the way you carry yourself and the way you handle opportunities. Confidence grows quietly, just like your wealth. Another advantage is that automation frees you from emotional highs and lows. You no longer feel guilty when you forget to save or anxious when expenses appear. The system handles it. That stability allows you to live in peace, knowing progress is happening regardless of your mood. The most successful people don't rely on motivation, they rely on systems. Motivation fades, automation endures. Silent systems also prepare you for scaling. When you earn more, you don't have to rebuild your habits from scratch. You simply adjust percentages, not behavior. That's how people go from small income to large wealth. They already have structures in place before the growth happens. You can't manage abundance with chaos. Automation ensures that no matter how big your income grows, your control grows with it. Still, automation is not about ignoring your finances completely. It's about freeing yourself from unnecessary decisions so you can focus on strategy. You must still review, learn, and adjust periodically. Think of automation as the engine that runs your vehicle. You still steer, but you don't need to push it every mile. You become the overseer instead of the worker. There's also beauty in quiet progress. While others chase trends or stress over short-term results, you sleep knowing your systems are building your future. Every automatic deposit, every recurring investment, every reinvested return compounds silently. You wake up months later to realize your wealth has grown, not through struggle, but through design. That's a different kind of power. The power of discipline done once and left to work. The habit of setting up automatic actions trains your mind for long-term thinking. It forces you to act as your future self, not your current one. Each system you build says, I am planning for tomorrow. That mindset separates those who live paycheck to paycheck from those who build financial freedom. Wealth is never an accident. It's always the result of deliberate systems created by someone who thought ahead. In time, your automatic systems become part of your identity. You no longer worry about whether you'll save or invest this month. It just happened. You no longer debate with yourself about paying bills. You already set it up. That peace of mind is worth more than any short-term excitement. It's the kind of quiet control that creates lasting security. The secret is to start small, but start today. Don't wait for perfect plans or higher income. Automate what you can now, even if it's a small percentage. Consistency beats perfection.
Over the years, small automated actions become massive results. That's the beauty of silent growth. It rewards patience more than speed. In the end, automation is not about technology. It's about discipline expressed through design. It's about creating systems that honor your goals without demanding your constant attention. When your wealth grows silently, you gain something even more valuable than money: peace of mind. You no longer live in reaction. You live in rhythm. You no longer hope for success. You build it quietly, confidently, and automatically. That's how real wealth is created: silently, steadily, and on purpose. Chapter 7. Make every expense strengthen your future, not weaken it.
Every dollar you spend is either building your future or borrowing from it. The way you treat your expenses determines whether money becomes your ally or your enemy. Most people never stop to think about how their spending shapes their life years from now. They only ask, "Can I afford it right now?" instead of asking, "Will this make my life stronger or weaker?" Real financial mastery begins when you learn to turn every expense into a decision that serves your long-term growth. That shift changes how you see money, value, and yourself. When you start viewing spending as investment, you naturally become more intentional. You stop spending just to feel better and start spending to become better. Every purchase carries energy. It either adds strength or drains it. The first step is awareness. Each time you reach for your wallet or click buy, pause for a second and ask one question. Does this expense move me closer to stability, skill, or peace? That moment of awareness is powerful. It's not about denying yourself pleasures. It's about directing your choices toward purpose. Your relationship with money reveals your priorities. When you spend without thought, you trade your future for a moment of relief. But when you spend with purpose, you transform ordinary transactions into tools for growth. Buying books, courses, or tools that expand your knowledge makes you more valuable. Investing in good health, exercise, or rest strengthens your energy to earn more. Even spending on experiences that bring meaning or deepen relationships adds value when done consciously. The difference is not in the amount spent, but in the reason behind it. You can start shaping your spending by creating categories of empowerment and depletion. Empowering expenses include anything that improves your well-being, skills, or opportunity. Depleting expenses are those that leave you with regret, clutter, or debt. Over time, the goal is to reduce depletion and increase empowerment. When your daily choices shift toward growth, your entire financial trajectory changes without feeling forced. You're not restricting, you're refining. You are simply choosing progress over impulse. The truth is, every expense teaches you something. When you review your past spending, you're looking at a mirror of your mindset. If your expenses are filled with random, unplanned purchases, it's a sign that emotions are running the show. If they reflect organization and purpose, it means you've developed control. Money follows clarity, and clarity begins with reflection. Once a month, review where your money went and ask, did this make me stronger or weaker? That question alone can transform the way you live. It's also important to understand that small, consistent waste becomes large weakness. People often ignore small purchases because they seem harmless, but small leaks sink big ship. The daily coffee, the unused subscription, the casual online orders, they seem insignificant in isolation, but together they create invisible financial pressure. The goal is not to become myopic or live with constant restriction, but to recognize the power of compounding.
To cut joy, it's to align spending with what truly matters. If something brings genuine joy or progress, keep it. If it only fills time or emotion, question it. Your future deserves your awareness. Smart spending is not about living cheaply. It's about living wisely. There's a big difference between being frugal and being strategic. Frugality often focuses on cutting costs for the sake of saving, but strategy focuses on increasing value for every dollar spent. You could buy a cheap item that breaks in a month, or you could spend more once on something that lasts for years. The smart spender always thinks in terms of value per use. Every dollar should have a purpose and a return, even if that return is peace, health, or efficiency. You must also train your mind to see delayed benefit. The world is built on instant satisfaction. Buy now, feel good now, deal with consequences later. But your future self needs you to think differently. Ask how each expense will affect you 6 months or a year from now. Will it make you stronger, freer, or more capable? Or will it leave you burdened, regretful, and stuck? This small mental exercise rewires your brain to think in terms of growth, not gratification. When your mind learns to look beyond the present, your finances naturally strengthen. One of the most practical ways to make expenses strengthen your future is to assign each one a role. For example, rent or housing should provide safety and focus, not pressure. Food should fuel your energy, not your stress. Education should increase your earning power, not just consume your time. Entertainment should recharge your mind, not distract you from your goals. When you connect meaning to money, you remove waste. You no longer spend carelessly because each dollar has a defined purpose. It's also wise to invest in tools that help you manage and grow your finances. Apps, financial tracking software, or financial advisors are not expenses, they're investments.
Even a simple spreadsheet can turn guesswork into data. When you can see where your money goes, you can control where it grows. Awareness creates discipline naturally. Once you know that your spending supports your future, you feel proud instead of guilty. That pride builds confidence, and confidence builds progress. Another part of strengthening your financial future through expenses is learning to prioritize necessity over vanity. Many people spend to look successful instead of to become successful. They buy to impress, not to improve. But real power doesn't need to show off. It builds quietly. When you spend for appearance, you feed insecurity. When you spend for growth, you feed potential. Every choice you make either grows your worth or dilutes it. The person who learns to choose long-term gain over short-term image becomes unstoppable. Financial strength also grows when you learn the art of substitution. Instead of cutting pleasures entirely, replace them with smarter alternatives. If you love dining out, do it intentionally once a week instead of daily. If you enjoy fashion, buy timeless pieces instead of fast trends. Substitution keeps life enjoyable without weakening your future. It's not sacrifice, it's balance. You're not taking away comfort, you're building control. You should also develop the habit of pre-planning your major expenses. Spontaneous large purchases often lead to regret. When you plan ahead, you give yourself time to evaluate, research, and decide with logic instead of emotion. Waiting before buying is not hesitation, it's mastery. The strongest financial minds act slowly and think deeply. They make moves only when they align with their vision. Your calm evaluation is your best defense against financial mistakes. There's an emotional transformation that happens when you start spending with purpose. You begin to feel proud of where your money goes. You stop hiding from your bank statements. You start seeing your financial future.
Progress instead of problems. Your self-image improves because you know your actions are aligned with your goals. That quiet confidence spreads into every part of your life. You carry yourself differently when you know you're not wasting your own potential. Every expense should either build security, increase opportunity, or protect freedom. If it doesn't fit into one of those categories, reconsider. Security comes from stability, covering essentials, and preparing for emergencies. Opportunity comes from education, tools, and growth. Freedom comes from choices that reduce dependency and debt. When your expenses serve these three pillars, your financial life strengthens naturally. You no longer wonder where your money went because every dollar had a job that served your vision. You must also understand the emotional triggers that cause impulsive spending. Stress, boredom, loneliness, and comparison are the most common. When you feel these emotions, your mind searches for quick relief, and spending becomes the outlet. The way to break this cycle is to replace reaction with reflection. When you feel the urge to buy something unnecessary, pause and identify the emotion behind it. Are you really buying the item, or are you buying temporary relief? Awareness turns impulse into insight. Spending should also reflect your values. If you say you value health, but your spending doesn't reflect, there's a disconnect. If you claim family is your priority, but your money never supports shared experiences or stability, there's imbalance. Money is a mirror that reflects your truth. Align your spending with what matters most. When your financial actions match your values, life feels coherent and meaningful. That alignment builds long-term satisfaction, not fleeting pleasure. To make expenses work for your future, use the principle of replacement. Every dollar you spend on unnecessary items is a dollar not invested in your future.
Time you spend on something that adds value, find one wasteful expense to remove. For example, if you buy a course that improves your career, cancel a subscription that adds no meaning. This keeps your financial flow balanced. Growth replaces waste. It's a simple but powerful way to make sure every dollar supports your advancement instead of slowing it down. Another technique is intentional forecasting. Before each month begins, estimate your upcoming expenses and decide how they'll serve you. This prevents surprise spending and builds out humility. When you know what's coming, you control it. When you ignore it, it controls you. Forecasting trains your brain to think like a strategist. It turns chaos into a plan. You no longer drift, you direct. Making every expense strengthen your future. Also means saying no to comparison. Many people lose financial control trying to keep up with others. They buy what others buy, travel where others travel, and measure success through appearances. Comparison steals peace and replaces confidence with insecurity. The calm spender focuses only on their path. Your journey has its own pace. Spend according to your reality, not someone else's illusion. That self-respect is a form of wealth in itself. Finally, remember that progress doesn't require perfection. You will still make unnecessary purchases at times, and that's okay. Growth is about awareness, not guilt. Each month, strive to make slightly better decisions than before. The goal is gradual strength, not instant change. Over time, your habits evolve naturally. You stop seeing money as something to escape or chase. It becomes something you manage with clarity and purpose. When you reach that stage, spending transforms from stress into strategy. You no longer feel anxious about money because you know every dollar you spend moves your life forward. You start
to see money as a quiet partner, not a burden. Your future grows stronger because you built it one thoughtful expense at a time. Wealth is not only what you keep, it's how wisely you use what you have. Every purchase is a vote for the kind of life you want to build. Choose strength over weakness, purpose over impulse, and direction over distraction. When you do, your financial life stops draining you and starts empowering you. That's when you truly begin to master the flow of your money and shape a future that supports your peace, progress, and freedom. Chapter 8. Use money to buy time, growth, and freedom, not things. Money was never meant to be a tool for owning things. It was meant to be a tool for owning your life. Every dollar you earn is a piece of your time, your energy, your effort, and your dreams. When you trade it for objects that fade, you lose that time forever. But when you use money to buy back time, invest in growth, and build freedom, you expand your life instead of shrinking it. The difference lies not in how much you earn, but in how you decide to spend it. The world teaches you to use money to look rich, but the wise use money to feel free. There's a quiet power in choosing purpose over possession. You don't need to fill your home with things to feel worthy. You need to fill your life with moments, knowledge, and peace that cannot be taken away. Using money for growth and freedom changes the way you live. It shifts you from chasing comfort to building capacity. You stop asking, "What can I buy?" and start asking, "What can this do for my future?" When you use money to buy time, you take back control of your life. Most people work endlessly, spending every dollar they
Earn on more commitments that demand even more work. It becomes an exhausting cycle. Earn, spend, repeat. But time is the real luxury. The person who can take a slow morning, spend an afternoon with family, or work on something they love is wealthier than someone surrounded by expensive things but trapped by stress. Money should buy you freedom from constant urgency. It should give you space to think, rest, and create. Start by identifying the things that consume your time but don't add value. Maybe it's chores, distractions, or constant errands. Then ask yourself if you can use money to remove or simplify them. Hiring help, automating tasks, or investing in tools that save hours each week is not wasteful. It's wise. When you free time, you free your mind. You gain the space to focus on what truly matters: your goals, your health, your relationships, your peace. Every dollar you spend freeing time is an investment in quality of life. Next, use money to buy growth. Growth doesn't happen by accident. It happens through intention. Every skill you learn, every course you take, every experience that expands your understanding multiplies your value. Growth makes your future stronger and your opportunities bigger. Spending on growth is never a loss because it pays you back in knowledge, confidence, and new possibilities. People who invest in growth eventually stop chasing money because their skills start attracting it. That's how you build wealth that lasts longer than any possession. When you shift your mindset toward growth, you also stop fearing money. It's no longer something that controls you. It becomes something that supports your evolution. You begin to ask, how can I use this income to become better, wiser, freer? That simple question turns every paycheck into potential. You realize that true success is not owning more things, it's owning more capability. Growth doesn't clutter your life, it expands it. Every book, class, or mentor you pay for stretches your thinking and strengthens your foundation. Freedom is the third and most important goal of wealth. Freedom is the ability to choose how you live, without fear or obligation controlling you. It's not about quitting work. It's about working because you want to, not because you have to. Using money to buy freedom means paying off debt, building savings, and creating stability. It means saying no to the pressure of impressing others. Freedom grows when you stop trading peace for appearance. You stop caring about what people think and start caring about how you feel. That's when money finally serves you instead of enslaving you. To buy freedom, start small. Build a financial cushion that gives you breathing room. The moment you have savings that can carry you for a few months, your mind relaxes. You no longer feel desperate or trapped. From there, build investments that generate passive income. The goal isn't just security, it's choice. Every bit of freedom you earn gives you the ability to live more authentically. Freedom is the highest form of wealth because it gives you back your time, your energy, and your focus. To live this way, you must also challenge your environment. Society constantly tells you to measure success by possessions. Every advertisement whispers that happiness is something you can buy. But happiness built on consumption is fragile. It fades the moment the novelty disappears. The truth is, happiness comes from growth and contribution. It comes from mastering your time, not wasting it. When you use money to buy experiences, skills, and freedom, you build memories and meaning that no one can take away. Ask yourself what truly matters to you. Maybe it's having more time with your children, starting your own business, traveling, or learning something new. Then align your money with those priorities.
Stop letting it flow toward things that only impress others. Redirect it toward what expands your life. A simple question to ask before any purchase: will this make my life richer or just my surroundings? The answer tells you everything you need to know. Buying time also means simplifying your life. When you own less, you spend less time maintaining, cleaning, and organizing. Minimalism isn't about deprivation, it's about liberation. The fewer unnecessary things you have, the more energy you have to focus on progress. Every object you don't need is a distraction. Every dollar you save by avoiding excess is a dollar you can redirect toward freedom. Money can also buy emotional space. Many people stay stuck in toxic jobs or relationships because they're financially dependent. Building financial independence gives you the courage to make better choices. It gives you the power to walk away from situations that don't serve your well-being. Freedom is not just financial, it's emotional and mental. Money becomes meaningful when it supports your peace of mind. When you use money to buy growth, don't limit it to education. Growth includes health, creativity, and experiences that expand perspective. Spending on travel that opens your mind, hobbies that develop patience, or coaching that strengthens discipline, all of these create internal wealth. The richer your mind becomes, the more valuable your life feels. Growth multiplies what money alone cannot buy: confidence, wisdom, and fulfillment. Using money for time, growth, and freedom also demands patience. The results don't show up instantly. You might not see change after a month or two, but year after year the difference becomes undeniable. Your finances stabilize, your confidence rises, and your stress declines. You move from chasing opportunities to creating them. Silent, consistent
Redirection of money builds the kind of life most people only dream about. You must also develop boundaries to protect this mindset. The world will always tempt you with the next gadget, luxury, or lifestyle upgrade. There will always be pressure to keep up. The discipline to say no is what keeps you free. Every time you refuse unnecessary spending, you say yes to your future. That quiet decision is where true power lives. To make this practical, create 3 questions to guide your spending. First, will this give me more time? Second, will this help me grow? Third, will this increase my freedom? If the answer is no to all 3, it's not worth your money. This simple filter turns random spending into intentional living. It keeps your focus sharp and your finances strong. Freedom also grows when you use money to remove fear. Build systems that protect your family, your income, and your peace of mind. Buy insurance, create emergency funds, and invest in skills that make you adaptable. These aren't just financial moves, they're emotional safety nets. The more prepared you are, the less you fear uncertainty. Preparation is one of the highest forms of self-respect. As you grow, remember that time is the one thing you can never earn back. Every hour you waste chasing temporary comfort could have been used to build something lasting. Use money to give yourself back those hours. Outsource tasks that drain you. Automate where you can. Design your days around creation and connection, not constant stress. That's what true wealth feels like. A calm life built by deliberate design. You'll notice something shift when you start living this way. Your happiness becomes less dependent on things. You begin to find joy in freedom, peace in growth, and fulfillment in time well spent. The noise of comparison fades. You stop asking, "What do I own?" and start asking, "Who am I becoming?"
Question leads to real success. The kind that money can support but never define. When you master this mindset, you discover that money was never the goal. It was always the means. The goal is to live fully, to have enough time to create, enough growth to stay alive inside, and enough freedom to choose your path. Things can break. Trends can fade, but freedom endures. Growth compounds. Time is irreplaceable. So use your money wisely. Spend it on what makes you more capable, not more cluttered. Invest it in what expands you, not what limits you. Let every financial decision move you closer to peace, purpose, and independence. The person who uses money to buy things may look rich, but the person who uses money to buy time, growth, and freedom is truly wealthy. That's the kind of wealth that never fades. It grows quietly, steadily, and deeply inside you, shaping a life that feels rich in every way that matters. Chapter 9. Design a life where money follows your purpose naturally. Most people spend their entire lives chasing money, hoping that one day it will give them peace, happiness, and meaning. But the truth is, money is not meant to be chased. It's meant to be attracted. It follows those who live with purpose, direction, and clarity. When you align your actions with what truly matters to you, money begins to flow naturally toward your life. It becomes a byproduct of value, not the main pursuit. Designing a life where money follows your purpose begins with one question. What are you here to do that creates real value for others and meaning for yourself? Purpose is the foundation of effortless wealth. It's the fuel that keeps you consistent even when results are slow. It's the reason you wake up with energy and go to sleep with peace. When your work reflects who you are and what you believe in, you no longer drag yourself through the day. You move willingly.
People can feel that energy. They're drawn to it and they reward it. Money follows enthusiasm, authenticity, and service. When you're living on purpose, your presence itself becomes valuable. To design a purpose-driven life, you must first understand yourself deeply. Strip away the noise of what society tells you to be. Forget what others expect and look within. What are your natural strengths? What activities make you lose track of time? What problems do you feel compelled to solve? The answers to these questions reveal your true direction. Purpose doesn't come from luck. It comes from awareness. The more honest you are about what fulfills you, the clearer your path becomes. Once you discover your purpose, you must design your life around it intentionally. Many people know what they love, but continue to live in systems that suffocate that love. They fill their time with obligations that don't align with who they are. You can't live a purposeful life on accidental schedules. You must structure your days to prioritize what matters. If your goal is to teach, create time for teaching. If your passion is building, create time for building. When your daily life supports your deeper mission, your energy multiplies. That energy attracts opportunity. Money naturally follows those who create impact. When you serve others with genuine care, you become irreplaceable. The world rewards contribution. Every time you solve a real problem, bring clarity to confusion, or make someone's life better, you plant seeds of wealth. You might not see immediate returns, but over time, those seeds grow into financial stability.
Reward. The second key to attracting money through purpose is consistency. Purpose without action is just a dream. You must show up for your vision, even when no one notices. The early stages of purpose-driven living often feel lonely. You might question if it's worth it, but keep going. The world begins to notice those who persist. Your consistency builds credibility, and credibility builds income. Money doesn't chase talent, it chases reliability. When people know they can depend on you, they trust you, and trust is the foundation of all wealth. You also need to redefine what success means to you.
Society's version of success is external titles, possessions, and recognition. Real success is internal: peace, fulfillment, and contribution. When you chase status, you often lose yourself. But when you focus on doing work that matters, success starts to chase you. You attract the right people, the right opportunities, and the right income. Success stops being something you pursue and becomes something you live. To design this kind of life, you must align your habits with your values. Every decision you make, how you spend your time, what you read, who you associate with, either supports or weakens your purpose. If your environment doesn't reflect your goals, it will slowly drain your energy. Surround yourself with people who challenge you to grow, who believe in integrity, and who push you toward your highest potential. The right environment creates momentum, and momentum attracts prosperity. It's also crucial to manage fear. Purpose often demands risk: leaving a job, starting something new, facing uncertainty. Fear tells you to stay safe, but safety rarely leads to growth. The people who build meaningful lives aren't fearless, they just act despite fear. Each time you take a step toward your purpose, even if it's uncomfortable, you strengthen your confidence. Courage compounds. The more you follow your inner direction, the quieter fear becomes. When you live on purpose, you stop competing and start creating.
Competition is rooted in scarcity, the belief that there's not enough for everyone. Creation is rooted in abundance, the belief that there's always room for new value. The moment you start creating instead of comparing, you separate yourself from the crowd. You no longer chase trends, you set them. You no longer wait for opportunities, you make them. And when you create something that genuinely helps people, money finds its way to you naturally. One powerful principle of purpose-driven wealth is authenticity. People are drawn to realness in a world full of pretense. When you speak truthfully, act sincerely, and stand for something meaningful, you build emotional wealth that often translates into financial reward. Customers, clients, and communities all seek trust. When your purpose is authentic, trust follows, and with trust, prosperity always arrives. You also need to understand the role of patience. Purpose-driven wealth grows differently than quick success. It builds gradually, layer by layer, with integrity and depth. It may take time for your purpose to generate income, but don't rush it. Speed is the enemy of sustainability. Focus on getting better, not faster. The more mastery you build, the more magnetism you gain. Eventually, money begins to find you, because excellence is always noted. Living in alignment with your purpose doesn't mean rejecting material wealth. It means redefining its role. Money becomes a tool for expansion. It allows you to reach more people, create bigger impact, and enjoy a freer life. When purpose and profit align, you experience balance. You earn not out of desperation, but out of creation. Every dollar becomes an extension of your mission, and every transaction becomes a reflection of your integrity. To make this real, start small. Begin aligning your current work with your purpose, even in small ways. If your purpose is to inspire, bring inspiration into your daily interactions. If it's to build, improve something in your current environment. Don't wait for perfect conditions. Purpose grows through action.
Stop letting it flow toward things that only impress others. Redirect it toward what expands your life. A simple question to ask before any purchase: will this make my life richer or just my surroundings? The answer tells you everything you need to know. Buying time also means simplifying your life. When you own less, you spend less time maintaining, cleaning, and organizing.
Minimalism isn't about deprivation, it's about liberation. The fewer unnecessary things you have, the more energy you have to focus on progress. Every object you don't need is a distraction. Every dollar you save by avoiding excess is a dollar you can redirect toward freedom. Money can also buy emotional space. Many people stay stuck in toxic jobs or relationships because they're financially dependent. Building financial independence gives you the courage to make better choices. It gives you the power to walk away from situations that don't serve your well-being. Freedom is not just financial, it's emotional and mental. Money becomes meaningful when it supports your peace of mind. When you use money to buy growth, don't limit it to education. Growth includes health, creativity, and experiences that expand perspective. Spending on travel that opens your mind, hobbies that develop patience, or coaching that strengthens discipline, all of these create internal wealth. The richer your mind becomes, the more valuable your life feels. Growth multiplies what money alone cannot buy: confidence, wisdom, and fulfillment. Using money for time, growth, and freedom also demands patience. The results don't show up instantly. You might not see change after a month or two, but year after year the difference becomes undeniable. Your finances stabilize, your confidence rises, and your stress declines. You move from chasing opportunities to creating them. Silent, consistent
Redirection of money builds the kind of life most people only dream about. You must also develop boundaries to protect this mindset. The world will always tempt you with the next gadget, luxury, or lifestyle upgrade. There will always be pressure to keep up. The discipline to say no is what keeps you free. Every time you refuse unnecessary spending, you say yes to your future. That quiet decision is where true power lives. To make this practical, create 3 questions to guide your spending. First, will this give me more time? Second, will this help me grow? Third, will this increase my freedom? If the answer is no to all 3, it's not worth your money. This simple filter turns random spending into intentional living. It keeps your focus sharp and your finances strong. Freedom also grows when you use money to remove fear. Build systems that protect your family, your income, and your peace of mind. Buy insurance, create emergency funds, and invest in skills that make you adaptable. These aren't just financial moves, they're emotional safety nets. The more prepared you are, the less you fear uncertainty. Preparation is one of the highest forms of self-respect. As you grow, remember that time is the one thing you can never earn back. Every hour you waste chasing temporary comfort could have been used to build something lasting. Use money to give yourself back those hours. Outsource tasks that drain you. Automate where you can. Design your days around creation and connection, not constant stress. That's what true wealth feels like. A calm life built by deliberate design. You'll notice something shift when you start living this way. Your happiness becomes less dependent on things. You begin to find joy in freedom, peace in growth, and fulfillment in time well spent. The noise of comparison fades. You stop asking, "What do I own?" and start asking, "Who am I becoming?"
Not waiting. Over time, the gap between what you do and what you love will close, and money will begin to flow more naturally through that alignment. A purpose-driven life also requires discipline. Passion gives you the spark, but discipline keeps the fire alive. There will be days when motivation fades, when results feel distant. On those days, routine saves you. Purpose is not about constant excitement. It's about consistent dedication. The stronger your discipline, the more predictable your growth. And predictability in effort leads to predictability in income. Money also follows gratitude. When you're thankful for what you already have, you stop operating from scarcity. Gratitude creates a mindset of sufficiency. You recognize that you already possess value, skills, and opportunity. That mindset attracts more. Scarcity repels abundance. Gratitude invites it. Be grateful for your progress, your lessons, and even your challenges. They're all part of your growth. It's also essential to find harmony between ambition and contentment. Purpose-driven wealth doesn't come from constant striving. It comes from balanced pursuit. Work hard, but don't lose yourself. Push forward, but also rest. Money follows those who are grounded, not frantic. A peaceful mind makes wiser decisions than an anxious one. When you operate from peace, opportunities reveal themselves effortlessly. As your purpose matures, focus on multiplying impact.
The more people you help, the more value you create, and the more wealth flows back. Think about systems that extend your reach: mentorship, digital tools, collaborations, or scalable services. The goal isn't just to make money. It's to build something that outlives you. Legacy is the highest level of wealth, and it's built on purpose that serves others long after you're gone. Never forget that money is a reflection of the energy you give to the world. When your energy comes from service, your rewards grow naturally. You don't need to force opportunities. They start showing up. You attract the right clients, partners, and investors because your purpose radiates clarity. The world doesn't reward confusion. It rewards direction. When you know who you are and where you're going, people trust you to lead. This is the ultimate freedom: to live each day doing what you love, to create work that matters, and to know that money supports your mission rather than distracting from it. That's when wealth becomes peaceful. It stops being a chase and becomes a flow. You wake up fulfilled, you work with passion, and you end each day knowing your life has meaning. That's not just success, it's alignment. When you design your life around purpose, you're no longer driven by fear of lack. You operate from faith in abundance. You understand that money is not the goal, it's the result of living intentionally. You stop asking, "How do I make more money?" and start asking, "How do I create more value?" That one shift changes everything. It transforms your work, your relationships, and your peace of mind. In the end, a purpose-driven life is not about choosing between meaning and money. It's about uniting them. It's about building a life where what you do daily reflects who you are deeply, and the rewards flow as a natural consequence. When your heart and your work align, your life stops feeling like a struggle and starts feeling like a calling. And when you reach that level of clarity, money doesn't just follow you. It becomes your silent partner in building a life of impact, fulfillment, and lasting freedom.
Owner, not the worker. Most people spend their lives working for money without ever realizing they could have money working for them. They wake up, trade hours for income, and go to sleep repeating the same routine, hoping that one day they'll earn enough to rest. But that day never comes because they never learn to master cash flow. When you don't control how money moves through your life, it controls you. But the moment you understand how to direct it with intention, you stop being a worker for money and start being the owner of your life. Living like the owner means thinking beyond a paycheck. It means shifting from survival to strategy. A worker focuses on earning. An owner focuses on managing, multiplying, and maintaining stability. Ownership begins in the mind long before it shows up in your bank account. You can have a small income and still think like an owner if you understand flow. The goal is to become the architect of your financial system, not a participant trapped inside it. Cash flow mastery starts with one simple idea: know where your money goes. You can't control what you don't understand.
Most people avoid tracking their money because it exposes their lack of discipline. But numbers don't judge, they tell the truth. The truth gives you power. When you know how much comes in, where it goes, and how much stays, you begin to see the patterns that shape your future. The key is awareness. Awareness brings order, and order brings control. The next step is to structure your flow like a business. Every successful company operates with clear categories: income, expenses, investments, and reserves. Your personal finances should follow the same.
Create separate accounts for different purposes. One for daily living, one for saving, one for growth, and one for freedom. This structure prevents chaos. You stop mixing essential money with optional spending. You begin to see yourself not as someone trying to survive the month, but as someone directing capital with clarity. When you master cash flow, you realize that income is not the problem. Management is. People earning 5 figures and people earning 6 figures often face the same stress because both lack control. The worker earns more and spends more. The owner earns and allocates. You must decide what percentage of your income goes to living, saving, investing, and giving. Once you define those percentages, automate them. That single step eliminates emotional spending and builds consistency. Owners rely on systems, not feelings. To think like an owner, you must learn to pay yourself first. Before you pay bills, before you buy anything, before you give to others, you must secure your own future. Set aside a portion of every paycheck for yourself. That money is not meant for pleasure today, it's meant for power tomorrow. This is how financial strength grows. Workers spend first and save what's left. Owners save first and spend what's left. That single decision determines whether you stay in control or live in reaction. As you refine your cash flow, study how to make your money multiply. Savings are good, but they're only the beginning. Money must circulate with purpose. When left idle, it loses value. But when directed into intelligent investments, whether stocks, real estate, or business, it grows. The goal is to create income streams that don't depend on your time. That's how ownership becomes real. Every dollar you invest becomes a worker, and the more workers you have, the less you need to work yourself. This is how freedom begins.
Through systems that keep moving, even when you're resting. Owners also master expenses differently. They see every cost as an investment or a liability. If it produces value, teaches skills, or generates returns, it's an investment. If it creates debt, clutter, or distraction, it's a liability. The difference lies in intention. When you evaluate your expenses through this lens, you eliminate waste naturally. You stop asking, "Can I afford this?" and start asking, "Will this make me stronger?" Every decision strengthens or weakens your position. Ownership means choosing strength consistently. Another vital part of ownership is cash flow forecasting. Workers hope for good months. Owners prepare for them. Forecasting means planning your money weeks or months ahead. You predict incoming cash, estimate expenses, and prepare for fluctuations. This habit removes surprise and creates stability. You stop reacting to emergencies because you anticipated them. Planning ahead turns uncertainty into strategy. To live like the owner, you must also separate time from income. The worker's biggest limitation is that their earning power stops when they stop working. The owner builds systems that continue earning even when they rest. This doesn't happen overnight. It starts small. Maybe it's a side project, an online product, a rental property, or a dividend investment. Each one becomes a small engine, generating cash flow independently. Over time, these engines grow until your lifestyle no longer depends solely on your daily labor. That's the difference between existing and owning. Control is also emotional. Many people sabotage their cash flow not because of lack of knowledge, but because of stress.
When anxiety takes over, people make impulsive decisions, buying to feel better, avoiding bills, or reacting out of fear. Ownership requires calm. You must train your emotions to stay steady regardless of financial circumstances. When things go wrong, don't panic, assess. When things go well, don't splurge, strategize. Mastery is not about perfection. It's about control under pressure. Another critical part of ownership is cash reserves. Businesses maintain reserves for unexpected costs and slow seasons. Individuals should too. Having a safety cushion gives you power. It prevents desperation. It allows you to make decisions based on wisdom, not urgency. When you have reserves, you negotiate better, take smarter risks, and maintain peace of mind. Every owner knows cash on hand is not just security, it's opportunity. To master cash flow, you must also build the habit of reviewing and refining regularly. Systems are not set once, they evolve. Schedule time each month to analyze your numbers. Are you meeting your savings goals? Are your expenses aligned with your priorities? Are your investments performing well? This review keeps your awareness sharp. Money rewards those who pay attention. The more engaged you are, the more control you gain. Living like the owner also means being proactive instead of reactive. A worker waits for instructions. An owner creates direction. You don't wait for opportunities. You plan and act. You don't let debt or expenses surprise you. You anticipate and adjust. Proactivity builds momentum, and momentum compounds results. When you lead your money instead of following it, life stops feeling chaotic. You move with confidence instead of fear. You must also treat your personal growth as a business expense. Owners invest in leadership, communication, and decision-making. You are your own company, and your mind is your greatest asset. Read, learn, and refine your judgment. Better thinking creates better financial choices. The more you grow mentally, the more capable you become of managing resources.
Complexity. Workers avoid learning because it feels like extra work. Owners learn constantly because it feels like expansion. To live like the owner, you also need boundaries. You must say no to anything that doesn't align with your goals. Ownership requires discipline. Every yes to something wasteful is a no to your vision. Protect your time, energy, and money fiercely. Your focus is your wealth. When you guard it, your progress accelerates. Ownership is also about perspective. A worker thinks in weeks and months. An owner thinks in years and decades. Long-term thinking changes your behavior. You stop chasing fast rewards and start building lasting foundation. You make fewer emotional decisions because your focus shifts to sustainability. Short-term gains often create long-term stress, while long-term strategy creates enduring peace. Another principle of ownership is accountability. You can't master what you refuse to take responsibility for. Stop blaming the economy, your job, or your circumstances. You are the CEO of your finances. Even if you didn't create every problem, you're responsible for solving them. Ownership begins where excuses end. The moment you take full accountability, your power returns. You realize that every action, from how you spend to how you think, shapes your outcome. Cash flow mastery also requires diversification. Never rely on a single source of income. One paycheck, one client, or one business can disappear overnight. Build multiple flows, some active, some passive. This diversity gives you strength. It cushions you from uncertainty and multiplies your options. Ownership is about having choices, and choices come from variety. Another essential element is automation. Owners build systems that work even when they're not present. Automate your savings, investments, and bill payments. Automate your growth by
Setting up learning routines. Automation transforms good habits into consistent results. It removes the friction of decision-making and ensures discipline operates even when motivation fades. To live as an owner, you must also lead others wisely. Ownership expands when you can delegate effectively. If you're building a business, empower people who share your vision. If it's your household, communicate clearly and create shared goals. Leadership magnifies wealth because it multiplies efficiency. You don't have to do everything yourself. You just have to design systems that work through others. Living like the owner doesn't mean never working. It means working differently. You work with intention, not desperation. You work to create, not to survive. You spend time building systems instead of managing chaos. You make money decisions based on logic, not impulse. You don't see money as the end goal. It's the tool for creating freedom. Eventually, mastery brings peace. You stop worrying about paychecks or bills because you've built control. You wake up each day knowing your systems are working quietly behind you. Your decisions are calm, your habits are steady, and your results are predictable. That stability allows you to dream bigger, live freer, and serve better. Ownership becomes more than financial. It becomes spiritual. It's the realization that your life is yours to design, direct, and expand. In the end, mastering cash flow is not about numbers. It's about mindset. It's the decision to stop living as a worker, reacting to circumstances, and start thinking as an owner, shaping your destiny. It's the awareness that you have the power to design how money enters, moves, and multiplies in your life. When you take that responsibility fully, you no longer live at the mercy of your finances. You live in command of them. The owner doesn't just earn, the owner decides.
The owner doesn't just work. The owner builds. The owner doesn't just survive. The owner thrives. That's what cash flow mastery truly means. Turning money from a master into a servant. From a source of stress into a source of freedom. When you reach that level of control, you no longer count the hours of your labor. You count the impact of your choices. And that's the point where financial independence stops being a dream and becomes the life you live every single day.